Friends, welcome back to our channel.
back.
Immigrants Corner. We're here to give you guys a little entertainment, give you guys some of our own experiences, and some of the controversy topics that we talk about. Anyways, let's get to it, man.
some people.
Let's trigger some people. Which one's more dangerous? The Democrats in the 20th century or the 21st century?
No, I wouldn't word it like that. I would say the socialism or radical left movement of the 20th century compared to the 21st century.
It's the same thing.
Which one? No, it's not, because they have the variation to it. It would be saying, like, say, ISIS and Taliban and the Mullah regime in Iran, and then Gulf states, and then some other people, like, all these Islamic movement, or even Baath Party, but they're all different. There is a variation. So you get the radical ones that they would be full socialist, communist. They're more dangerous, totalitarian, more violence. So looking at 20th century, which they caused havoc and worldwide disaster, which one is more dangerous? Now they're making a comeback. I never thought after the fall of Soviet, I never thought we would see this again. But after 30 years, 91 now to 2021,
Well,
this beast is coming back.
Hold on.
So
Before you
is it
explain
going to
that,
be more dangerous now in
Okay.
21st century
So,
with censorship and all that? Or the
before you
20th century?
explain that, explain 20th century and the 21st century to the youngins who
So the
don't know their
20th
history.
century, so the socialists, as they call it, the communist movement.
Give them years.
Communist
so they'll know
movement
what years you're
started in
talking
early
about.
19th century. In early 19th century, and then the mid 19th century, you get Karl Marx and.
I know, but give them years, like,
So I'm saying
1825 or
the
1925.
philosophy is like early 1800s, like 1810 or 1815. They started around early 1800. They came out of the French Revolution. So the Jacobin Club right now that they have is a Communist Party of USA associated with that here in California and elsewhere. So they actually came out of that anti-aristocracy, not just aristocracy, wealth class or whatnot. So that came out of the French Revolution. So the foundation of it, the founders and all that came out of the French Revolution. So it started that, and then in mid 19th century, you had the Karl Marx and all that. They came with the idea of class warfare and all that garbage that they came up with. And then what happened is just this so-called progressive movement. It happened throughout the Europe and United States. They start creeping in. And then what happened is just the Russian Communist Revolution of 1917 to 1919. So once that happened, the Tsarist Russia obviously collapsed, and that was had the domino effect in not only Europe, in Asia, and abroad, like in African countries, South America, which we are still suffering from symptoms of it, and they're making a comeback. They're emboldened right now. But anyway, so we had the Cold War, we had the World War II. Actually, the Nazism and Communist Russia, they're not too far off. The difference, anybody who doesn't understand the history, the difference between communists in Russia and the Nazi Germany is like a difference between ISIS and Taliban. There's not much of a difference. It's just both of them radical.
They spoke different languages.
But they just had a little bit of different twist and killed each other. That's what it is.
They literally just spoke different
Most
languages.
people, Nazi stands for the National Socialist Party of Germany. So they just added the nationalism to it. It wasn't anything national about it. They're pretty much communists, they're socialists. So there's not, in that sense, they're no different than the
And
communists.
by them saying social, it doesn't mean that they were spreading the wealth.
Right.
They were
No
not-
socialists, they had full control. I mean, Hitler wasn't like, the Nazis.
I know, but
were
he was
in
not.
charge of everything.
He was not spreading wealth.
Right, the only difference was instead of government running things, they were controlling the industry.
Yeah.
So what China is doing, actually China is a fascist state right now. It's not a full communist.
Yeah.
It used to be a communist, now it's more of a fascist. Because now you can get wealthy in China, you can be influential, but the government tell you what to produce, how to produce, who to contact, what to do, their policies.
At what
and stuff
price
regulated.
point and all that
They
stuff.
regulate it.
Yeah.
Subsidize it, regulate it, and then people with the...
It's just like
incomes-
Venezuela. Venezuela the same way.
Right, so they're in a sense fascist, more fascist. Communism by itself cannot survive because it's just the whole ideology is so evil and so backward when it comes to the economy, especially modern economy. It's impossible to succeed. The communism is nothing but it's going to bring death, chaos, famine, you name it. And any place with any culture, this is tried in every color and culture, from Africa, African countries, Central country, African countries like the Congo and stuff, everything. All this garbage has been tried in Asia, Eastern Europe, Western Europe, elsewhere in the Middle East, in South and Central.
And the amount of corruption,
Americas.
and the
So
amount of
it doesn't
corruption that
matter where it's
follows
been
it.
tried,
It's
it just
crazy.
always ends in bloodshed, famine, chaos, and misery. So this is communism by itself. So anybody who subscribes to the communist ideology, to me, is evil. It's evil. I would not tolerate it. I will not stand it. I will push back and fight, disregarding what the consequences. Now they're creeping over here as, oh, we are democratic socialists. We are democratic socialists. There is nothing democratic about socialism. Lenin himself said, socialism is the final stage before communism. That means they use the word socialism and stuff to take over, creep into the society and take over. Once they take over, then they're absolute communism. That's what it is. There is no difference. If anybody says that there is a difference between socialism and communism, they are just, you are pretty much lying to yourself. You're not being honest to yourself.
They're doing the same thing with critical race theory. They call it equity.
It's
That's what
garbage.
it
It's
is. That's what
garbage.
they. This is the new term, using equity as critical race theory. That's what they're doing.
There is nothing equal about them. All of them, they live in multi-million-dollar houses.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing equal about them. These people are just absolute lunatics. They are sick. They're demented. They're demonic. This is a demonic ideology, as Reagan called it. It says empire of evil, and it's true. If you agree with that, you have to repeat that everywhere you go. You have to say it. Anybody proposing, because majority of people are just brainwashed. A lot of young people are brainwashed. They go to these colleges and stuff. This all so-called professor and stuff. I've been to college, so I'm familiar with them. Some like a lunatic, oh, kumbaya, kumbaya, coming and all this like a demented and sickos. They're weirdos and sickos. They're not impressive people. These people wouldn't survive in real life. You know what I'm saying? These liberal professors are not the type of people that you want to be in just middle of Africa and savannah and survive. That I can tell you. These people, they can't even survive. And I tell people, we need to come up with the boot camp. Boot camp for feminism, middle of July, roofing in July. Roofing in July boot camp. You just take them out there, just put them out in the heat. They're going to come to their senses, find Jesus quick. So this is what it comes in 19th century, 20th century, over 100 million estimated, death as a result of communism. Death. In my country of birth, in Iran, and where my parents came from northwest part, these lunatics, they tried to secede the area with the help of the Soviets and caused massive famine. Hundreds of thousands of people just died of famine. Right around World War II. So I'm very familiar. I might have not been here if my parents didn't run away from that area when they were teenagers. Literally, I possibly wouldn't make it. I mean, if they wouldn't make it, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
So it has a life and death consequences. And all this stuff that they're saying, I don't care what the consequence you think it is, because these people are just loudmouth. They have the media right now, and they have, in a sense, a lot of businesses are fearful because they're fearful. A lot of them are located in big cities, right? You are seeing all these billionaires and stuff supporting the Democrat Party or whatever garbage at this point right now they are. This like a lunatic leftist policies. And I'm not a fan of the Republicans either. I mean, they're corrupt, the other one's evil. So to me, just both of them are bad. But
It's
one
a
is
double
like
negative.
awful. Yeah, double negative. But the thing is, these people, they're usually based in big cities. So, and these people are vicious. So now they have that creeped in all levels of powers in the city, in the council, and the government, and the federal government, and the state government, and universities, and the media. They have creeped in and take over. Now, these people that they have money, they're afraid, because if they're not going to put up with that, if they're not going to be side with them, then there are going to be consequences for them. That's why you see all this, like even the government organizations and stuff, some general agrees with this, having this like a lunatic ads regarding the military. I mean, the Russian military have ads over there with the soldiers tough, doing that stuff. We have like a, I don't want to even get into it. It's like a crazy. So that's the 20th century. Now it comes to 21st century. Now, I think in some aspects, I'm more optimistic that this is happening right now because we have more access to information. At the same time, because we have more access to information and more of our life is on public, it's much easier for the governments to, let's say, identify, crack down any kind of opposition, right? Let's say if we have, God forbid, communist government established over here or socialist government, I say it openly that I will not stand with it. I will not stand with it. This country is going to go through whatever the process is going to go through. I'm not going to be living under any kind of a socialist or communist government. That is not. To me, they're evil, they're demonic, so I'm not going to have anything to do with it. Once it gets to that point, I'm just putting it out
and goes back to the point that I've been making so many times, that look,
and we have millions of veterans in this country.
These people, these kids, these brainwashed people who think socialism is the answer is by spreading the wealth and all that stuff. Let me explain to you something. How many millionaires live in the United States, do you think? How many?
Many of them actually live in the socialist, so-called more left-leaning states.
Let's just, no. How many are there? How many millionaires live in the United States? By, what, 2,000 people?
No more than that.
10,000?
Probably 700,000.
700,000 people. By you saying millionaires. Okay, 700,000 people. How many people live in the United States?
The current census is 360 million.
360 million. So 700,000 people makes what's the percentage to 360 million? 5%?
Not even that. If you say 5% or millionaire class, and then you get billionaires, obviously, just
how many
there's a hierarchy.
How many billionaires? They're a lot less, right? They're a lot less than millionaires. There's not many billionaires out there. Okay? For you to think that 5% of the population is going to maintain the 95% of the population because of their wealth, you like split the wealth? Do you think their money is going to last long enough for you to buy your next brand new Tesla? Or buy yourself a house? You won't be able to buy yourself an underwear.
It might just give everybody a free dinner.
Dude, what? Not even. You won't even be able to buy an underwear. That's how pathetic you guys think. That's how pathetic it is. The way you guys think is that, by taxing the billionaires and the millionaires and spread the wealth and all that stuff, do you really think their money is going to make any changes to your life? It will have zero impact. You know why? I'll tell you why. Because you tell the politician, hey, pass a law, tax the billionaire. Okay, let's pass the law, tax the billionaire.
The money doesn't come to you.
That, let's say, $6 million, let me even back, $60 million you're taxing that billionaire. 60 million. By the time that 60 million goes down the loopholes, by the time it pays for the social services, by the time it goes through another filter of, we need to fund this project, we need to fund that project, we need to fund this project, we need to fund that project, it's going to come down to you. Ma'am, sir, you don't qualify. You make too much money. That's how it works.
Yeah, it's like we didn't get none of the stimulus for the COVID thing.
That's how it works. Okay? For you to think otherwise, you're an idiot. For you to think that money is going to come into your pocket, you're an idiot.
No, I'm going to extend the olive branch. I'm going to
No, what olive branch?
I'm gonna devil's advocate. I'm gonna extend the olive branch here. I'm gonna the same way that I said. Actually, I don't necessarily support the police in big cities.
Okay.
Big city police, yours. I support the small city police. I don't know those big city police. Those are the policy. If it's racist, if it's a systematic racism, they're established by the Democrat politicians in big cities. They are the ones that they're doing all those. They're running. They have the city. They have the mayor. All that stuff. They get all the city council. They are the ones running and all those like police regulations and policies for arrest and stuff. All of those, the police doesn't come up with them out of their pocket. Those are all written by your city. So if there's going to be a racist police, so that's your racist politicians and the racist mayor and the racist governor that they're causing that systematic racism. Okay, that's that. So I don't support the big city police. No, I'm unlike other Republicans. They're stupid. They don't understand messaging. No, we are not going. Oh, support all the police we are supporting. No, I don't support all the police. I don't support big city police. I don't trust them. I don't trust anything out of big cities. I don't care if it's their judge, their police, whatever. They're nice folks. They might be. I don't care. All I'm saying is just I don't trust them because the whole, as I said, the big cities, the big city culture is corrupt, and right now is even worse than ever. So I just don't trust anything that touches it. So that's to me. I just try to protect myself. So that's my view. So, but I extend the olive branch. When you say a lot of this, like billionaires and stuff getting special interest and all that, right? Special advantages, you have to understand again, where do these billionaires live?
They don't live in 8 Mile. They don't live in Chicago. They might have a ranch
in Wyoming and stuff, and whenever they feel, going over there for a
they live next to Obama at Martha's Vineyard.
They live next to Obama. They live next to Crooked Hillary. They live next to all this like a Democrat politicians. They live because they dominated big cities, right? So where does Bill Gates live? Bill Gates doesn't live in Chattanooga, Tennessee. That I can tell you. Bill Gates is either over here in D.C., in California, in Paris, whatever. All these like lunatics. So when you are going out of your way, you have nothing and you are suffering. And I sympathize with that. If anybody who's a college student, you get that and all that, and you are brainwashed with this communist garbage, with this socialist garbage ideas. It's like that Professor Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
That guy can run it like a lemonade stand. I guarantee you cannot. I mean, the way he's talking. Oh, corporatives is what they do in Iran, and you see how their economy is.
It makes me laugh, dude. It makes me laugh, man. I'm sorry.
Literally, this lunatic is proposing something that the Iranian government has been running for 40 plus years. 43 years, and look at their economy, and look at their inflation and stuff.
I mean,
we want to have cooperative, and the workers just give me a break.
But look, the best part is...
So don't fall for those lunatics.
The best part is these people say, oh, they're billionaires.
They live with you.
Do you realize they don't have billions in cash, right? You realize that. It's all assets. It's not cash. He doesn't have $1 billion sitting in his bank account.
Usually actually owes a lot of money.
It's assets. This is how they rate these people.
No, but even if that's the case, they live in big cities.
I mean, nobody explains this to them.
They live in cities, they're sucking off. That's what it is.
I mean,
if you are poor, if you are young, if you are poor or middle class, you live in big city, you live in rural areas, you live in middle areas, you live in suburb, it doesn't matter. They're sucking up this system as it is right now. The problem we have with this system is because there's no accountability. Sucking up the taxpayers' money with the deficit spending, as we said before, every time that the government does deficit spending, that's a taxation.
Yeah, and realize every time they spend, they're not spending in billions, they're spending in trillions. So put that in your head. Like not billion. This is trillion. Right. That means you need another $1,000 billion to get to $1 trillion.
But we are going to come back to this socialism and communism in the 21st century. Dude, what I think is more dangerous is, especially Communist Party of China, with what they have done over there. What I've heard, a lot of people that they live in China, I've watched their blogs and all that. They get cameras, facial recognitions pretty much everywhere you go in China, even in rural areas. So that is very dangerous. That's a totalitarian. I mean, obviously, it's just that's a fascist government. Anybody who says like a Communist Party of China, at this point, they're not communists, they're fascist. Actually, there are a lot of like a hardcore nationalists, like in the Communist Party of China. In the name is communist. They're all about having a good life. They're having a good life.
Yeah.
They're making money off of people, and then the rest of the people, they look at them as a slave. That's what it is. You're going to be looked at as a slave. You are here born to work and produce, and then die. If you were smart to save something, then they would take it away from you in form of state tax, which is unconstitutional, in my opinion, and massive level of taxation throughout your life, multiple times on the things that you already pay taxes on. Let's say your property here, or your vehicle, if you have a boat. If you get a wheel, you get a wheel, you just want to spin it, they say, oh, that's a property, you have to pay taxes on.
And this is the thing, like if I die and my inheritance goes to my kids, I would have paid taxes on that money or property multiple times, over and over. I already paid taxes on it. So now, if that goes to my kids, they're gonna have to pay taxes on it. But you know what? I'm smarter than they are. So
Right.
I will put contingencies in place that, you know what, my kids will not be getting taxed. So trust me, do your study. Find the loopholes, because everybody can use them. The loopholes are not just meant for the rich, they're meant for everybody. You're gonna have to spend some money to find the loopholes. You have to
They're meant for everybody who studies.
Exactly, and this is where when Trump was during the debate with Clinton, like, oh, you haven't paid taxes, He came in and was like, yeah, because you passed the laws.
And then they say, oh,
You
all
passed
this
the laws.
taxation-
You
they
put
say
the laws
all
in
this
place.
taxation,
Idiots.
Government maintains the roads. I mean, how expensive is a freaking asphalt? I mean, for the love of God, and they're not even taking good care of it.
Go to
what I'm saying?
California. Go to Los Angeles. The roads haven't been paved in 10 years.
All these programs, including Social Security, is a scam. In my opinion, is a scam. When you came over here, oh, this is great. You're paying into it, and then when you get older, you're going to get this, and that.
And you know how
To
that
me,
works? No. The thing is, a lot of old people came here who have never paid a dime into the system. They came at old age, 60, 65, 70 years old. They get Social Security.
And then if you die, obviously early, you're not going to get anything. And that is not, because majority of that money, what's going to happen? It's going to be spent on who? Who? All these colleges that they created, all these worthless degrees, right? So they have to create jobs for them. So what jobs you can do? The government job, that you have to have 4-year degree, that you have spent $300,000 to get it, and then you're going to get a job in Social Security, and they need to justify that all these government programs and stuff, except the national security and defense, that they say, obviously that's for the nation. We need to have that, and there's no money that, when the nation is in danger, then the money has to be spent. So I'm not against that. But everything else, I'm opposed to it, in most part.
See, what I'm
Everything
opposed
else,
to...
I'm opposed to it, because it's just creating job for the left-leaning
Worthless
workforce.
minds.
The left-leaning
Worthless
workforce coming with a liberal art degree, that they cannot get a job in private sector, and they're going to get a government job. And then these are the people that they are creating policies and stuff. And that's where you see all this corruption and waste and everything else. It's like a cancer, because
They don't teach these people any skills. Okay? The problem is, liberal art doesn't teach you skills.
No imagination either.
Nothing. This is the easiest way out of college, is get a business degree or get a liberal art degree, or whatever garbage degree you want to get. The problem is, they don't make the kids ready for the future, or they don't get them ready. They don't even mentally get them ready for the workforce, because they say, oh, I just got my 4-year degree and I'm gonna go out and make myself $80,000 a year. No.
And that's what it is. So
You have to have some sort of special skills, okay?
So
This is why, hold on. This is why engineers, doctors, lawyers, and what's the other one? And nurses, okay? Nurses are special. No, but nurses specifically, that's a special skill. That's a skilled worker.
It's a hard job.
Okay?
It's a tough
Being a nurse is a skilled worker. Being a plumber, it's a skilled worker. Being a lawyer, it's a skilled worker. Being a doctor, it's a skilled worker. Being an engineer is a skilled worker. Being a journalist is not a skilled worker.
It's not.
I'm sorry. I don't take
Because
that for
you can see it. I mean, we are sitting over there much more probably interested than
being an
people
artist,
so-called.
being an artist is a skilled worker, but there's no market for it unless you put that skill to extreme use, meaning you have to be super creative. Okay?
You have to be a real artist.
You have to be a real artist. That's why you see, like songwriters.
You have to be a real
So you gotta art. It's not just drawing. Art it has to do with music. Also has to do with music. Has to do with other skill sets. So if you have special skill sets that you learn, that's your golden ticket, because you can only improve that skill set to make you one of a kind. This is why you have so many rap artists try to become the best rap artist or the one rap artist. None of them, not all of them make it. There's only a certain one that will make it. Okay, there are people. It's a competition. If you completely take the competition away from school, from like kids growing up in schools, going through
Cuba,
schools,
everybody's going to sit in the street and smoking cigars.
exactly. There's no longer a competition.
With nothing, you're going to produce nothing.
You take that competition away. Guess what? That child, as they're growing up, going through middle school, high school to college, if they don't have no competition, if they don't have that drive, they're not gonna get anywhere. They're just gonna be like, oh, I'm just gonna get a 40 to get.
It's the current situation is just discouraging a lot of professionals from working too hard. I mean, why am I working too hard? Am I going to be just paying for the zip code, paying all this taxation and stuff, cost of living for what? I mean, for much less, I can just live a little bit further out. I have a land, just grow a lot of food on my land. Simple life, healthy life, good life for my my kids and my family.
Yeah.
Just, it is what it is. And then as I said, this is not like 30 years ago. But the problem is, as I said, with the socialism right now, with the help of Communist Party of China, is the most dangerous because of social media and stuff. So they have more control over the information as they did before.
The megaphone is 100 times larger.
So
that's what it is.
That's why we are here trying to just put the word out. Even if the two people with two active brain cells have, listen that they are not necessarily exposed to different kind of ideas, or they have been just totally brainwashed by just the media and all that. Two people is just two people. I mean, I used to be like a very so-called progressive. I didn't know anything because usually it just comes with lack of knowledge. Honestly, lack of knowledge, lack of understanding reality. And usually for somebody who is young, when I was like 20-some years old, that's totally understandable. But when you see somebody is like a Nancy Pelosi, 80 years old or whatever, obviously she's just a corrupt lunatic. So she's not just even a communist or whatever. She's just a corrupt politician. But if you see this like a college professors, that they are 60, 70 years old and still in this la la land ideas and stuff, those people are just mentally sick. They shouldn't be in charge of anything. They shouldn't be in charge of teaching our kids. They shouldn't be in charge of making any kind of comment about especially young children.
They shouldn't even be in charge of turning on the TV.
What they have to be exposed or not exposed. These people shouldn't be in charge, and they have creeped into the government at all levels. And this is going to have backlash, and it should have a backlash at some point. I don't know what's going to happen, how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and where it's going to happen. But
I hope it happens.
This will happen. I can guarantee you that this will happen. We are getting close to the red line. The red line of especially God-fearing people, people of faith, people of conscience in general. People of conscience, people that still have some sense of decency, tradition. Because think about it, it's not about just being Republican, it's just conservative. That means you care about your history, tradition, and all that. So now they're creating this whole new mob of destroying everything. We are not for that. Majority of people are not for that. And these are only a few concentrated, big city, kind of like a cancerous tumors in this country. And they are not the voice of this country. I've been all over this country, many, many states. The American people are good, hardworking, decent folks. Majority of them good, hardworking, decent folks. It has nothing to do with this like a evil lunatics. And I purposefully use the word evil because what they're promoting is evil. It's demonic. It's anti anything that throughout the history we have had value. You know, God, family, country, honor, tradition, loyalty, whatever. They try to destroy everything good that's been in this country and bring their so-called supposed utopia. Which their utopia, their version of utopia is actual hell.
Yeah.
And people in communist countries that already went through that. And we have saved our lives and we came to this. This is the last stand. The reason I'm so emphasizing on things are going to go really at some point kinetic in this country is because this is the last stand. If this country goes down, the whole country, the whole world is going to go to darkness.
Yep.
And what again, I'm going to mention, Reagan says beautifully, if fascism ever comes to America, it's going to be in form of liberalism. And we are seeing it right now.
Yep.
This cancel culture is nothing but fascists. These are not, when they so-called anti-fascists, but they're the fascists themselves. And these so-called democratic socialists and stuff, majority of them, obviously, they're lunatics. They don't know what they're talking about. But they're promoting, what they're promoting is fascism. What they're promoting is socialism, which is demonic. Is never going to work, never worked. And they're just going to bring instability. They're going to bring division. As you're seeing it, they're bringing division. They're pitting everybody against everybody. And it's not going to have a happy ending. It's not going to have a happy ending. I mean, it might have a happy ending, you know, once they're pretty much put in their place, you know, as it was in the post-Cold War and, let's say, World War II, when the Nazism was defeated. But we don't want to get to that point.
Yeah.
So for that, you need to speak out. We need to band together, push back against this lunacy, and God bless America.
Yep.
This is, as far as we live over here, we love this country. Millions of people have given their lives to live free over here and to allow their family to live free over here. So we are not going to give that up.
Not without a fight.
We are not going to give that up.
Not without a fight.
So we'll see what happens, but God bless America. Stay strong. Stay strong. Nothing to fear.
Exactly. All right, guys. Hit that like button, hit the share button, and hit that subscribe button. Leave your comments below. Let us know what you think about this show and this segment. We will come back and give you guys more content as we see how this whole world is turning out. With that, we'll leave you. God bless you. God bless this country, and stay safe.